Hello and welcome to Tobi's Brick Space. My name is Tobi and today I'm introducing you to another new release from Lumibricks, the L9084, the Heritage Tram and Station. It consists of 1274 pieces, 5 minifigures, numerous prints, no stickers and 9 LEDs for a retail price of 84 euros on the website. I personally ordered it from Brick, where you can get it for 68 euros plus a 5% discount, which brings you down to 64 euros. And we will take a look at what the set can do for the money. So let's start with the box. It's made of a good cardboard as usually, with a nice fold out seals. I definitely like that. Inside we have the instructions, which are easy to find, as well as the orange LED kit box. There are 5 building sections and another bag S with the larger plates and the connected prints, as well as 2 bags F. These contain the special parts for the minifigures and also for the cable routing. Let's move on to the instructions. They have the same design as the one on the front of the box, and there is a QR code you can scan to access the PDF instructions. Otherwise, there's the Lumibricks service card where you can contact them using the contact information if there's anything wrong with the set. Otherwise, as always, first check out about Lumibricks page, followed by a short dedication to the set and a bit of information about it. It's really nice that they always do this. Here we have 209 pages and 290 construction steps. As always, they are explained in great detail, no questions remain unanswered. And here, for example, you can see the tram station list, for example, fire station and town hall. These are both sets that we don't have yet. So let's say they're being teased or announced here. That means we can definitely look forward to a fire station and a town hall. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to it. And then it continues. We have these pages in different languages where it's about what's included in the set and what's included in the LED kit. So you can check whether you have everything. And of course, it's always important to check the LEDs before using them or installing them, simply because it's annoying if an LED happens to be broken because it's already installed. Then you move on to build the minifigures and building step number 1, which will be the entire platform or stop. And yes, as it's typical for Lumibricks, it's being built quite smoothly, as I mentioned. Now let's move on to the LED kit box. The box is similar in appearance to the box itself. It also has a nice seal. It also opens, and inside we have another safety warning card, and I always pack that to the side. And the LED components are divided into small bags. Otherwise, we have tweezers for laying cables and a screwdriver for the battery boxes. These are these CR2032 batteries, small round button batteries. They're not included though. You will have to get them for yourself. And then you can see the entire contents again, all the LEDs, 9 of them, and 2 more USB cables. So we can connect the whole thing via USB, of course, and don't necessarily have to run it through the battery boxes. Now let's move on to the 5 minifigures included in the set. Unlike in the last 2 sets, they don't have a name or a special function that's also described in the instruction or on the website, but we definitely have a bar employee, an artist, that's the one with the head, and also a tram driver. The other 2, in my opinion, are just normal traffic users, and they're definitely nicely made minifigures as always. They're also nicely printed, and yes, I think even this guy's shirts look half white. Unfortunately, it's common practice for light colored items on dark torsos to simply turn gray or look more pink. That also depends on the background color, but overall the minifigures here are nicely done. Now let's move on to the finished set itself. Here's a rough overview of everything we've got. It's also a modular piece, of course, so individual modules that we can put together. And I think that's how I will present it to you. That means let's start with the first 2 construction steps. So let's start with the track and this stop. But first I'd like to show you this little car here. And by the way, feel free to tell me in the comments what you think of the light. So I've just ordered some new lighting to try out, but I don't know, it doesn't seem as good to me as the ones I've been using. but feel free to let me know in the comments if you notice any difference and what you think. In any case, we have this pretty little cart with us. It has a transparent little wheel here. There are a few flowers stuck on it on studs, and the others are in this little flower pot. It's then placed in this cart. Unfortunately, there's no stud here to secure it, so it's halfway in there. So for me, it isn't a satisfactory final solution, but it's definitely a nice little cart. And the stop is certainly very nicely built too. A quick word about the underground. You can see that we have a gap here, of course, so we can connect this track. This is also to be moved continuously. Unfortunately, we have open tech bricks at the back. I find that not that nice. There are these half pins that offer the possibility of adding another plate here. Then it's finished. So if you're going to incorporate it into your city, you have to place this somewhere against it. I don't know, should we build a dirt strip or something like that here so that it somehow disappears, or just rebuild it in some other way. But I also think it's a shame that we don't have any kind of ramp here. So at the end of the video, I'll show you again how it's supposed to be done, how you incorporate it into the existing Lumibricks city. Unfortunately, there is no access to this railway track from the side here, or rather this little stop here. I think that's not that nice. The view from below, we have the battery box here. Here we have the LED that shines down on top of the stop, then the LEDs on the side here, and we have a small light bulb here, small lamp here, or at the edge of the bridge. Yes, that means 3 of 9 LEDs are installed in the stop. And then, of course, we have the overhead line for the tram. Theoretically, we could install them here too. Yes, but of course, it's limited by the fact we only have this piece here. The only thing that bothers me a little is stability of these columns. It's not really there, especially when you do this like this upwards. There's a lot of tension here, which means they're pulled together and not straight. Otherwise, we have some nice prints. One here for the traffic light, and here's a pedestrian crossing sign, although we don't really have a pedestrian crossing. On the other side, there will be something about line, and there are lines 3, 22, and 84. This print here is really beautiful, I must say. Down here on the ground, it continues straight ahead. We have a small fountain here, or I don't know, a watering hole. It's just that you get something to drink from it. Here we've built a beautiful flower pot with some pretty flowers. They're in different colors too. I really like it. Here we have the post office station print on top. It's also very, very nice. The windows on the roof are also virtually scratch-free, except maybe a tiny scratch here and there, but otherwise I think it's really good. I intentionally left the minifigure in here so you can see the scale. I think it's more or less fine. Stick-it booth here, stick-it machine is perhaps a bit high considering the location of the control panel. That's rather unusual these days. It's also rather unnecessary. You could simply lower it a bit. It wouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, we have this beautiful printed pane with a small wooden frame printed around the outside. It's really, really nice. And yes, we do have a few references to other sets, although we already have all of them. There is, however, one adventure here on the route description where we are right now. Yes, post office station, the tram continues to book a fee to the town hall, and we don't have a town hall yet. That means that's already a hint of the city hall we're getting. We have the antique store, we have the bakery and the theater, but we don't have the fire station. And that's something that's been requested quite often, especially in the community, that we definitely need a fire department here, and we're getting one. We have a Brick Art Gallery Artisan Gelato Studio. I've also uploaded a review of these sets available here, the Brick Art Gallery and the Gelato Studio or balcony, as I already did. I will see if I can pin it in an info card above. Feel free to take a look at it if you're interested. Then we have a small bridge here, which will be placed on top with a small step to make it easier to board the tram which is a good idea. The implementation, however, isn't entirely logical. I will show you that in a moment. What bothers me here though is that there is barely enough room for a minifigure to pass through. So yeah, it won't fit through sideways with its hairpiece because of its sign hanging here. Well, that's not a satisfactory solution either. I think it would have been better if this sign had been hung a bit further to the right or on the outside of this wall here. I don't understand why they put this in the middle of the path. It doesn't make sense to me. And if this bench here is still here, you can't get through with the minifigure at all. So this really wasn't thought through to the end. And then we have another special feature. We can convert this train into a bar. And for that we already have the menu here, and it includes real cocktails and drinks like the Mojito and the Cupra Libre, for example. I think, or rather I hope you can read this too. It's very, very nicely done, including the prices. The prints are really cool. Now the track itself joins in, and it's well built in here. We have proper plates underneath, everything's stable too. And on top of that, we have these elements. And yes, they function as rails, and they really work very well as rails. We actually have very little flex here. In other words, the panels have a bend a bit. Minimally, yes, so really minimal. You might see it right here. It's really minimal, like a millimeter or two hanging in the air. Otherwise, a bit of greenery, a little bit of small pattern. I really like it a lot. The only really annoying thing is these spear points on the parts. They are unfortunately very prominent here. Otherwise, that's nice. And we can simply put the whole thing here, as I mentioned earlier, with this station here. And this works very well. Plus, we can simply move this again so that you can see, like in the thumbnail, we have a better view of this stop itself, even though the tram is on the track. Keyword tram, there it is, and in my opinion it looks really beautiful. So it's really, really well done. We can just start with the roof. We have this pickup on top here, where theoretically once we open it up we can put the rope or the cable and the flying wheel J cable underneath. So it really looks like it's actually moving. And there are some very nice prints all over the top here, especially here. That's its, let's say, Minecraft head from Lego. It's also printed all around with the number 22, because that's probably line number 22. Yes, it's printed on the corners too, right across the corner, better said. Well, that's really insane. Otherwise, we have the Lumibricks print here. It's the same on the side. It's just mirrored, so to speak. And the same applies to the print here. I will show you what's wrong here though. We can, of course, easily remove the roof here. We have this power transfer point here, and the battery box is hanging in here. It's actually a good solution. There are no cables hanging down. What's a little tricky here though is that, as you can see, something's loose here. That's because we were supposed to get this parts 3 times more. We did get the part, so my girlfriend built the set because I started building the castle banquet hall at the same time. And yes, this part is included 3 times upside down. That is where the top side hangs down. And of course you can contact Lumibricks and they will send the right pieces to you, but I haven't done that yet, and I don't know, it just works that way. And honestly, I think I'm going through all that logistic hassle again just for the sake of 3 parts. Especially as far as I know, they always ship these spare parts from China. Then I think to myself, come on, they don't need to send anything from China just because of these 3 parts. As soon as or as long as the set still works. And yes, of course, it's definitely annoying that something like this happened. Thank goodness, though it's not normal, I'd say, but rather an exception that we have such a mistake here. Otherwise, you'd put the roof on the right way around, and then the current would flow downwards. One here for the front light and one for the rear light. We have these hinged doors here, so the passengers can get in and out. These prints here, of course, are incredibly good. On the other side, it's the same again, just mirrored. Here we have the driver, and I think the scale thing is good. It actually fits very well. At the front, which is difficult to show, we have a printed G-slope with control elements. The print is the same on the front and the back. We also have another LED here on the outside. So it looks very, very nice. And from below, you can see that it was built properly. And what's so special here is that we can remove the roof and then take a closer look at this entire middle carriage here. So first of all, we have a passenger here. It's sad that they can't sit right there. A viewer wrote to me that she's been using Patafix to make the minifigures sit, and it works, and I think it's a good idea, a creative idea. So yeah, depending on whether you're looking for an option, that would definitely be something for you. Then we have this little bar here. Unfortunately, the disadvantage is that there's no room to walk. You see, it's just too narrow for anyone to walk here. And I think that's, just stupid. The rod could have been moved a bit further and inserted inward, especially since, as you can see, the studs are free back here, right? So the rod would have been fit in there. The same applies here. So I don't know why they didn't close it up somehow. That's what bothers me about this train car though, and why the blue, pink and yellow colors are used down here doesn't concern me. It's unnecessary and definitely wasn't needed here. And you saw the sign earlier that we have a bar here. And it's also very nicely printed. We have a small serving counter here where you can serve the stuff from inside. Here again is historic tram number 22 in service since 1998 print. Here is with the Templar print with the few cocktails and drinks printed on it. Here's a nice decoration at the top. The same mirror image is reversed on the other side except for the windows. We don't have a serving counter here, but we do have this beautiful print, Moonlight and Cocktails, established in 1996, Midnight Tram Bar, open from 9 p.m. last stop. So it's a very nicely printed piece. We also have a little karaoke corner here where one of the guests can also sing. Small seating area here with a few drink options, a flower, and the bar itself, of course, is small. I don't think there's room for all the cocktails. It's a little gimmick. According to this menu, the cocktail bar, as its design, it wouldn't be realistically feasible, but it's very nice that we have it in here. And then we can put that in here too. It's really quite simple. It doesn't sit on studs or anything like that. It's actually loose in here. However, the fact that the roof is then placed back on top of it will secure it. What bothers me a little bit though is that when the middle element is in place, it doesn't line up flush with the other studs at the top, and maybe it's even wobbling a bit here and there. I think that's not that nice. I also checked to make sure everything was properly pressed down, and it just doesn't want to. That's definitely a point of criticism, because it could happen that a power transfer point isn't properly powered and then the lights outside here go out. That's not that good, of course, but otherwise you can see this carriage with its beautiful design, the lovely cocktails and everything. That's really cool. And all in all, of course, we can put a tram on the tracks here. Then I will press again here. And that's what I mean. Now, for example, there's simply too much play here, so the contact can't be fully established, and then the lights go out. And that's only because this middle section is so loose and doesn't fit completely flush. That's really annoying. Of course, you could just plug the whole thing in here and avoid having to plug this other side fully. But you don't want to do that. That's not a satisfactory solution here. It might help if you don't press down all the way here, and then you will see a small error. This little platform does help you get to the level you need to get to the tram. However, you have to make a decent jump or scratch quite a bit to get in. So for me, it's not completely satisfactory solution to require the colleague here or the passenger in general to make such a jump. Now you have a general overview of what it's like here. When a tram arrives like this and then stops at a stop, it's pretty cramped, and if you position it like this, You obviously can't see the stop. That means that because this track is movable, you have the option of adjusting it nicely and then maybe move the tram a bit further back, and then you have a nice display of this stop with the tram. And I don't know about you, but I'd really like to get the parts for this trackpad that I don't have and expand it and integrate it into my city in general. I'd love to have an entire city for every possible Lumibricks theme, be it Cyberpunk, Neon City, Street Fusion, or Town Life, which this set belongs to. I'd love to have my own city, my own world for everything. Unfortunately, I don't have the space or the money for that. I think many of you feel the same way. I mentioned that you can integrate this into your city, even just like that, and I will show you that in a moment. Or rather, I just faded into the background for you as intended. Unfortunately, I don't have much space here right now. As I just said, I have to rebuild a few things, but it's along the lines of what Lumibricks intended, how you can integrate this into your world, into your Lumibricks city. So let's conclude with this lovely set. There are again numerous prints and lightning elements included, which are truly beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact number of prints because A, I didn't count them, and B, or rather my girlfriend didn't count them, and B, the information isn't on the website or I can't find it anywhere else online. Therefore, unfortunately, I can't give you an exact number of printed bricks here, but as you have seen, there's quite a few of them, and it's a really cool idea too. The implementation is also beautiful. As I said, with this passage here and no space there, it's obviously unnecessary, or this ticket machine is a bit too high. That's also a bit stupid. I'm not sure how this could be improved with the stability of these two poles, but these are the negative points that I have to address very clearly. Plus this roof construction, or rather the fact that the middle element is a bit higher up, which means you can't always close the roof completely without the lights going out on the tram here. Another negative point here was that I missed those parts at the top. However, that wasn't really intentional or predictable, so I will leave that out as a generous negative point. But otherwise, I think the set is really, really cool. Also with the possibility of redesigning the train or tram, the middle part, where you can make a little bar of it. That's really, really nice. I definitely like the whole presentation, the style. I like the colors used for the individual elements. And overall, the retail price of 84 euros is quite a lot of money. I ordered it from Brick for around 64 euros. I think that's a really good price here. That's where we go back to 5 cents per item. So maybe wait a bit for higher discounts on official Lumibricks website or on Amazon page. I really don't think you can complain about Lumibricks at all here. So I'd be interested to hear what you think about the set and the review. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And I work on my English, so this will be getting better in the future. Feel free to check out my other videos, and thank you so much for watching this one until the end. Take care, see you next time, and bye.